Now, I also want to ask you about diversity in the music industry. After the recent death of George Floyd and Black Lives Matter demonstrations, you wrote about some of your own early experiences of racism from when you were just 7 years old in New York and as a 12-year-old in LA. Have things changed?
Unfortunate that it's not changed very much. My life is a little bit different because I don't have to do the things that I once did. So I get to drive sort of in the fast lane, if you will, because of where I live, because of who I know. They've made me an honorary sheriff and things like that. So when the cops stop me, it comes up in their computer. Oh, hey, that's not right, right away. But if I'm in another town or another state and I'm just a regular guy, just a regular black guy, whoa, things are very different. You're talking about something that's very complicated and something that almost every American knows. Racism is ingrained in our society, and we all know it. I mean, people don't like to admit it, but we all know it. I mean, we know it if you have kids that go to school, if you have kids that like music, and and you could look at who they hang out with, and you hear the stories. I've heard, because I mainly do music that appeals to younger people, I've heard stories from the kids in my neighborhood that just make me go, really? Your father said that about me? I never even met your father. So this is a long-standing problem in America because we actually have never had that reconciliation type of discussion. And people seem to be afraid of it. And the interesting thing is that black people are not afraid of it. We're fine to have that conversation. But I think that white people feel very nervous about it, and I'm not really sure why. I wish I was smart enough to be able to address it, because I've been in situations where very aggressive white people have confronted me with pretty harsh language and guns and things like, oh, I mean, all my life. I mean, it's too many to even mention. And every single time that that's happened, I was able to move it into the dialogue phase. But I had to be smart enough and lucky enough. Don't think that I'm some genius. I was lucky that they just didn't shoot or pummel me, that I was able to get it to the dialogue phase. This is a long-standing and deeply rooted problem in America, and the dialogue has to be open, and people can't be afraid of words. We've weaponized words in today's world to such a degree that people have very thin skin now. Man, come and get in the record business. I've had record executives call me everything. You can't imagine what they've told me. And then when the record becomes a hit, they go, I never said that. So I'm accustomed to being berated. It's just part of the business, You just spent $500,000 and now they think that it's the worst thing they've ever heard until it becomes the best thing they've ever heard. And then they deny that they ever said it. So I'm not afraid of people speaking harshly to me or having arguments. I've always called it, I'm trying to think of what we used to call it in the old days. We used to call it waging ideological struggle. And to us, that was war without violence. We just talked about it, and we were trying to make our point, but we did it in a way where we tried not to turn off the other person. We tried to make the other person feel comfortable so that they can understand the world from our point of view.
And do you think the president is doing enough?
The president is a different type of that's a whole different level. I'm really talking about addressing this on a level where people take the responsibility. I think that this particular administration does not send out the sort of loving type of feelings that administrations in the past. And it's not because I'm a Democrat and, or whatever. When I was younger, some of my best friends and some of the most intellectual, wonderful people that I knew were Republican politicians. I was friends with their kids, come to their houses for dinner, and we'd have great conversations. It was wonderful. That's the America I miss. And I don't think that our current administration is of that mindset.